Hello everyone and welcome back to May's forecast. Thank you for your feedback on last month's background. I totally agree. It didn't work. It was too busy. I was like, I hated it every moment that I was editing it. And so I've got another one, new one. This one is a little bit less yellow than the last one. And I kind of dig it. I kind of like the bright background because I have so many different colors of tarot cards. It's like, we just need something neutral, you know? So that being said, before I jump into May's energy, two quick announcements. When this video goes up, the night of May 1st, I am hosting a free Beltane retreat. It's a manifestation retreat. It's also a retreat where you get to practice your psychic abilities. We're going to be focusing on astral travel, anchoring, a few other techniques. And basically, I do a quarterly retreat every single quarter on the Psychic Development Society on the free tier. All you have to do is sign up to join, and we have two nights, Friday night and Saturday night. We're going to be doing this retreat. And if you miss it live, there will be a replay available on the event page. You just go to the same spot in the link down below. But yeah, if you have been feeling like something is coming forward, and maybe it'll be revealed here in today's reading, like something is wanting to be manifested, that's what we're going to focus on in this Beltane retreat. It's kind of like Beltane, the symbolism is all about, you know, what are we ready to tend? What are we ready to grow and bring forth? And what passion is burning within us? And so we're going to be doing a lot of visualization, manifestation this weekend, and kind of like moving into the future and doing a lot of like future anchoring techniques to bring in the future version of ourselves that has this thing actualized. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, feel free to join us. And then my second announcement, we only have about a week and a half until my Ireland trip closes. May 12th is the absolute last day to join. I know that you guys have probably seen this. This is just a last reminder for those of you who have been on the fence, you're still not sure. There's only literally about a week and a half left to decide. So if you need anything to help further make that decision, feel free to reach out to me. Happy to answer any questions. I have a ton of videos up on YouTube in a playlist answering questions, as well as my Instagram stories. The number one thing I keep hearing is that a lot of people are nervous to travel. And I'm going to link up in a card above a video that I made about that and why I actually think we're going to be totally safe using geodetic astrology, as well as astrocartography. So May 12th is the absolute last day to join. If we don't book the minimum number of seats by then, the trip will not happen. So if you've been thinking about it, you could be the one person that really tips us over the edge into manifesting this trip. So I would so appreciate you joining us. Up until May 12th, you still have the availability to book with a deposit, so you can use Affirm, you can put 25% down. I would highly encourage doing that. I know a lot of you just probably finished your taxes. You might have tax refunds coming in. That might be a good thing to put it towards. So yeah, I will link everything about the trip down below. I'm not entirely sure if I will be doing another trip. It really depends on the success of this one. So I wouldn't wait around to see if I'm going to be doing another one. All right, though, let's move on to our intuitive reading for May. Let me know, how did April go for all of you? Ooh, okay, so for May, we pulled the self-worship card. We're going to be putting ourselves first this month. My hands fold as I speak to the stars, watching as the sky holds its breath. It's in stillness that I find all that I am and all of the divinity within me. Heck yes. We're prioritizing ourselves this month. I mean, truly, this card is all about self-care. We're all in need of major self-care, maybe after whatever we experienced in March and April. I know I definitely am. This is that feeling of like we have been spread too thin and it's time to treat yourself. So this is kind of about like being self-centered, putting the focus on your nourishment, on your change, on your spiritual priority, on your well-being. It's kind of about indulgence. This month can also be a struggle of like, maybe we're talking down to ourselves. There might be a little bit of that negative self-talk. This is a reminder to like treat yourself with compassion, forgive yourself. I feel like I'm being called to tell you all at the beginning of your week each week, sit down, choose one thing that you're going to give yourself that week. You know, maybe it's one week I'm going to go out and get myself a dessert from my favorite desserts place. The next week I'm going to go get my nails done. Maybe it doesn't cost a lot of money. Like I'm going to go allow myself to pick out a book from the library, or I'm going to carve out 1 hour that's for me. I'm going to ask my partner to watch the kiddos so I can actually do that this week. Time to put you first in May. Gosh, I haven't used this deck in a while. I forgot how much I love it. Okay. And I kind of just asked, how is this showing up for us? Because sometimes we're doing a really good job of this and sometimes we aren't. So we have the Two of Wands and we have the Hierophant. I mean, with the Two of Wands, this is very much like we're looking forward. We're looking to the future and we're doing a lot of like, what do I want? We're not necessarily like planning. I mean, this is literally what we're going to be doing in the Beltane workshop. So it might even be worth just going into that retreat and watching the replay sometime this month. This is like, again, we're not necessarily seeing it. We're not feeling the harvest from it yet. We're not seeing the growth from it, the results. That's the word I'm looking for. The Two of Wands really indicates like, what's my vision? What's my vision? What's my goal? I'm just thinking about it. It's in my head. It's an idea right now. And I'm focusing on what is that idea? And it needs to come from this place of like, what do I want? Me first. You know, there might be this energy of like, reset. What do I need? Like, I've been stretched thin. There's a reason why you've been stretched thin. And so maybe I need to come back to the drawing board and figure out a new vision for myself. I feel like I'm supposed to tie in the Astro dice here. We have Pluto in the 10th house in Aquarius. And again, this is more energetically. There's a lot of transformation going on in how you are being seen, how you are being recognized. This could be showing up in your career. And maybe the way in which you're interacting with people, the way in which you're dealing with clients or the relationships in your life, it's imbalanced and you're like, I need something new. I need something different. And I need to put myself first. Maybe you've been putting everyone else first with Aquarius. And so because you're putting yourself first, you're starting to realize where things are not in alignment and you're starting to figure out kind of a new direction forward. And the Hierophant card really comes in to say, I don't exactly know what I don't know. So I'm going to be open to learning. I'm going to be open to gaining new knowledge and open to teachers, open to people along my path who are here to drop wisdom. You know, it's not always like, oh, I got to sign up for a course. But sometimes when we set up a new goal or a vision for the future, we're kind of like, okay, I know I want a better relationship. I don't exactly know how I'm going to get there. I know what's not working. I know my career is not working. I don't know how I'm going to get there. Spirit, show me the way. Show me how to get there. I'm open to anything. And then maybe all of a sudden you find this person on Instagram who literally that's all they do is they help people stick up for themselves and say what they need to say to their boss. Or maybe you find a book that's really helpful for your relationship and being able to move through something with your partner or with your business. You know, maybe you realize that, okay, I'm ready to step into this new role. I'm ready to like speak and be seen more. I don't know how to do that. Maybe it is a course of like, okay, I'm ready to take on some public speaking and I don't know how to do that. But it's just about being open. It's about being open and prioritizing you and being open to learning. Learning what you don't know. But it should be things that are fun, that are for you. Learning that's for you. That's passionate. That's exciting. Things you want to do. Like this month in May, I'm going to freaking go to a Harari, I don't know if that's the right way to say it, Harari astrology class because I want to and it's going to be for me and I'm excited. I'm going to go on Mother's Day. Like this is that energy. And that's like a divination technique for astrology. Okay, that's how it's showing up. We're very much putting ourselves first kind of coming up with a new vision for the future after a period of feeling a little stretched thin, and just being open to whatever comes through of how it's going to work out, how we should move forward. Because we don't have all the answers sometimes. Ooh, the biggest obstacle this month is going to be those relationships, though. Let me just turn off this light. I forgot to. So, I mean, this talks about hand fasting. This can also just be like literal commitments that you have to other people. This could be work commitments, or it could be your literal partnerships, your friendships. Again, I think that was kind of reflected in the astrology dice. It's kind of, what commitments have I made? Some of these commitments might be obstacles for me for achieving the things that I want to achieve. Because maybe that imbalance there is the exact thing that's keeping you from moving forward and pursuing the things you need. This can also just be that the obstacles, you don't have support. You don't have somebody on your team supporting you, pushing you forward. At the more basic, very core level of what hand fasting means, it means unity. And so maybe there's not a clarity of unity of like your vision. Maybe you have the pieces and parts of what you think you want to do, but you're just not quite there yet. And so that unity might be the obstacle for your month as well. What's the advice for this month? To have the best month, surrender. There's nothing more blissful than the act of letting go, of setting yourself free of all that doesn't serve you. So there is an element of just don't even worry about anything. Don't try to push, don't try to pursue. Again, self-worship can just be the only thing you have to worry about this month. But there is this secondary aspect of this, which is let go. There is an imbalance here. There is something that is wanting to be transformed with this Pluto astro dice, and recognize what is no longer serving you. And maybe we're starting to realize that as Uranus has just moved into Gemini, what's no longer working, what's no longer serving us. So it is a little bit about surrendering. Doesn't just mean I'm gonna let all the shit hit the fan. It's also you know what, I'm not gonna hold so tightly to this thing that I was trying to make work before. I'm just going to say screw it. Honestly, I've been feeling this way a lot just within my own business. It's all the goals that I used to have, I've kind of just been they're not coming to fruition. Clearly there's something else that's meant for me here. I'm just going to let it go, and we're going to figure out what's next, Ooh, how should we be using our psychic abilities this month? Psychometry. Sometimes touching objects, using clairsentience, actually getting your hands on things. So this can be holding a crystal, holding an object of the person that you're trying to read. Maybe keep that in mind this month as you're doing readings, as you're trying to pick up on things. If you're having trouble getting grounded this month, maybe picking up crystals, holding them. I pulled last month Tana's new deck, and I was like, let's just pull one anyways. And I pulled Divine Timing of Wealth. Even if you're not a psychic entrepreneur, this card still has relevance, and it kind of talks about the wealth that you've been manifesting is coming. So there is a little bit of this release of, again, surrender. What you're wanting is coming. It might not be right away. This might be that we do need to redefine, we need to put ourselves first. We've been stretched too thin. And when we kind of self-prioritize again, step back, maybe that actually creates room for this divine timing of wealth to come in. I actually would argue that it does. That's what it feels like to me, is that we've been pushing for this wealth or pushing for this manifestation so hard that we've been stretching ourselves thin. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to take a step back, recalibrate our vision, maybe gather some new knowledge, and just kind of let go. And as always, I'd like to ask if there's anything else we need to know about this month. Okay, we really, really need to know that we need to surrender this month. And what do we need to surrender specifically? What do we need to let go of, Spirit? Ooh, the Emperor. You know, the Emperor can be boundaries, like letting go of our boundaries. So this can be letting people in to some extent. Or the Emperor also represents like authority, structure, like rules, things in your life like that. Think about like where you have structure, rules, authority that you feel obligated to show up and like abide by. What can you just let go of in that regard? Like, where do you feel like, I feel like I'm supposed to say, like, you know, you're an adult and you have free will, right? you you don't have to sign up for a lot of these things. And so like maybe that's the mantra of this month. I'm an adult. I have free will. And so knowing that, where are you being held back by certain restrictions, certain things that are in place? You know, what's interesting is that the Hierophant is kind of that same way. It's like there's systems in place that are holding you back. And so opening yourself up to a different way of doing things. Again, freeing yourself from that which doesn't serve you. This doesn't necessarily mean like just screw it all, quit your job. Like, unless you're already feeling called to do that. I think what this means is like there's a better way of doing something, and there's more ease that can be found here. And sometimes when we try to do it the way we think we should do it, we're actually creating more resistance for ourselves. And when we can let go, surrender, soften, trust, open ourselves up, kind of be like, you know what, I don't want to keep doing that thing. Then what we allow for is more for us, more for that open energy, more wealth, more of whatever it is we're trying to manifest. I actually feel like what then happens is that happens in June, because I know June's a really, really good month. So I think the key really is to get yourself into that energy, get prepared by getting into that feeling this month. Open yourself up so that you can receive the blessings that are going to come in June. Not saying you won't have any, of course, in this month, but the blessings are going to be giving to yourself this month. So comment down below, what are you going to give to yourself? Yes, we're going to do one thing at the top of each week for ourselves, but what's one big thing that you're going to commit to this month that you want to put down in the comments below? Here, I have an idea. Come to Ireland with me. All right, friends, let's move on to the astrology for this month. All right, everyone, let's get into May's astrological forecast. Let me know, how did April astrologically go for you? I felt like although like there was a lot of planets in Aries, it was actually really helpful to just like move things and get things done that have just been like sitting and stagnant in my life for a long time. So I actually found it to be very like alchemizing. Curious how that all showed up for you guys. The first half of May is kind of similar to the last half of April in just that a lot of those transits are still kind of in the same place. We just had Uranus move into Gemini down here. So it's only been like a week as of May 1st. Less than, actually. So we're still getting a feel for what that's like. And pretty soon it's going to be building kind of to a trine with Pluto. And I can't remember what those are off the top of my head, but those we're going to be paying attention to a lot over this year. We'll talk to them when we get to them, but there's going to be a lot of interesting innovation, changes, new AI, transportation, just like, what's the word I'm looking for? Inventions. And so as soon as Uranus moved into Gemini, you know, it's called being co-present in a sign. So even when a planet is just co-present, when it's in the same sign, it doesn't have to be on the exact degree. It doesn't have to be exactly trining Pluto. It's co-present in that sign. You start to get the effects as it's getting closer and closer to that perfect trine with Aquarius. So we're just going to see that kind of build up. So I'm very curious how that's going to play out. Essentially what I'm trying to get at, we're still filling out what Uranus and Gemini feels like to us. And on the very first May day, Beltane, May 1st, we have a full moon in Scorpio. This Scorpio full moon is also sextiling Jupiter. It's also squaring Saturn. And so this full moon is, again, full moons shine light. It shines light on what needs to be revealed. And what needs change, what needs transformation, and we're gonna feel lots of feelings with it, with that Scorpio energy. It's like intense. And it's also showing us like what can no longer remain in the dark in this area of our life, the Scorpio house for you. So you're gonna look up where Scorpio is. I'll tell you that in a second. And you probably are feeling this now. It's like fears, paranoia, emotional truths, like all of this comes to the surface. It's hard for us to ignore. Just know that what's happening now is that we're being asked to emotionally change so that we can handle what's coming around the corner. We need to have the emotional stability, capability to handle the fears around this section of our chart, the shadows around this section of our chart. So even though it's like intense and scary feeling, it's really showing us, you know, what's actually changing it and where transformation is possible and necessary. So just focus on what needs to be let go of. And so let's go through everyone's house. So if you are an Aries rising, this is going to be your 8th house, Taurus 7th, Gemini 6th, Cancer 5, Leo 4, Virgo 3, Libra 2, Scorpio 1, Sagittarius 12, Capricorn 11, Aquarius 10, Pisces 9. I'm recording this a couple days before, and like this is in my 3rd house of how I communicate, and I'm already feeling like how I communicate is just not working. And I'm trying not to make any rash decisions, but I feel like the way I'm communicating is just, it's not working. It's not sticking. There's a lot of fears that have been coming up, a lot of imposter syndrome. I'm like, do I keep making political predictions? Do I keep showing up and making YouTube stuff? Do I keep showing up and doing readings? Like, I'm just being honest with you guys of like where I'm at. And I'll let you know as I move through it, of course. So I'm only saying that because you might see the back end of this transformation for me. And I'm kind of like, do I keep showing up and doing certain podcasts? Do I do my own podcast? And it's like, it's all communication. And I feel like something is coming in, something needs to be changed. That's probably a little bit Uranus and Gemini. And so instead of resisting, I'm just going to go with the flow. I'm going to release what's not working. And maybe it's not my career, you know, maybe it ends up being in my, well, actually, I do feel like there's a little bit of that going on in my interpersonal relationships as well. So just stay open, you know. Also, May 1st, Beltane. Remember, tomorrow the 2nd, I'm going to be hosting the Beltane retreat. Even if you missed it, there will be a replay available. Join on the Psychic Development Society and you can watch it. This might be a really good time to get clear on what's like stopping you and what you're trying to manifest. I'm going to kind of be incorporating the themes of this full moon into that retreat. And it's totally free to join. So then on May 4th, Mars square Jupiter. This isn't necessarily bad. Sometimes when we think of Mars and squares, they can be bad. This is just kind of like having a lot of confidence to push forward. Squares can be Mars square Jupiter. It's pushing forward in these sectors of our chart. So this would be my 11th house of networks, social networks, with my, you know, Aries house, which is like resources. What I've learned last month is it's not just other people's resources, but it's intense feelings and emotions. So the only caution here is just like to not get too overconfident, not get too pushy in pushing forward something, but this can actually be a very like beneficial thing to to manifest, to push something forward, or it can bite you in the butt if you're a little too overconfident. May 6th, we've got Pluto stationing retrograde. It's not leaving Aquarius by any means, it's just starting to move backwards. It's going to be here for another like 20 years. The day that that happens, again, it's like an exclamation mark on Pluto in that sign. So you can look at it both mundanely in the world, but also in your personal life of what that's showing up for you to do. Gosh, I'm like, just now, I'm seeing how this is applying to my life, and I'm like, great, great. This month is going to be fun. Because a lot of this is showing up in like my 6th house of like how I get stuff done day to day, my communication, and I'm like, clearly I'm redoing a lot of things. And retrogrades, we're kind of redoing, reevaluating. But with Pluto, a lot of that is like power dynamics as well. It can be technology, things that are under the surface. So okay, battery change. But in your personal life, this is just like looking at things that are under the surface, power dynamics, knowing the past Pluto and Aquarius like stations. It's often coincided with like Bitcoin, Tesla robots, AI agents, OpenClaw, the robot race between the US and China, Anthropic and the government. Also, like Trump, Obama talking about UFOs. So we might see those themes pop up again, because again, it's kind of like a, hey, this is what this is about. So I would expect during this time to see a lot more like dark, seedy things coming to the surface, because again, it's like we need to look at this, we need to review it. So it's probably not going to be the most pleasant things in the media. All right, and then on the 16th, we have a new moon in Taurus. And this one is great for resetting our values, getting stable, again, refiguring out what direction we're heading in. We're reevaluating like what's really important, especially when it's conjunct with Venus. I should move this over here. So yeah, it's conjunct with Venus. Which is a good thing. It's a great, powerful time to reset. It really gets us out of that last cycle of ickiness with all of the planets in Aries. So I would really put some time and energy into manifesting something new. Again, especially after coming off of the last like week or two here of like reevaluation, that Scorpio moon, you're going to really see what do I need to let go of. So this is like the time to be like, okay, you know what? This is what I am ready to change in my life. And here's the new intentions that I'm going to set around it. So for Aries risings, this is going to be in your 2nd house, Taurus 1st, Gemini 12th, Cancer 11th, Leo 10th, Virgo 9th, Libra 8th, Scorpio 7th, Sagittarius 6th, Capricorn 5, Aquarius 4, and Pisces 3. I'm seeing a story playing out here for me, because for me, this is happening in my 9th house. My 9th house is Taurus, and Uranus just left Taurus for a lot of us. And so well, every one of us. And so what's happening is we're kind of like, okay, whoa, now that this is feeling a lot more stable, what do I want to reprioritize in this part of my chart? Because Uranus was here to shake things up, and now it's kind of like, all right, I'm settled. I'm settled in this part of my chart. How do I want to move forward? And I often associate this with like my teaching, my philosophy, my astrology, higher education. Like it's me, you know, coming to you guys and offering what I offer. And so maybe now that I've had Uranus fully leave it, I'm kind of like, all right, now that I've figured out what I'm doing over here with Pluto, and I've got a better day-to-day routine going on, figured out what was happening with communication and what wasn't working for me communication-wise, now I'm going to set some new intentions of how I want to move forward and how I want to communicate. Okay, and then on the 17th, is this worth mentioning? Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning. Mercury is conjunct Uranus. Oh, and on this day, I wasn't wrong. It's just that Mercury moves so darn fast. It was in Taurus on the 17th. It moves into Gemini. When Mercury is conjunct Uranus, like Mercury is in its own sign here in Gemini, and it's going 0 degrees here. We don't really know what this looks like yet because we haven't seen Uranus and Gemini in our lifetimes, much less Mercury right on top of it. So there's going to be some startling news. It's going to be some sort of huge catalyst. It is going to provide some sort of beacon of hope as well for the future. And it's a good thing, I think, because it comes right on the heels of this new moon. And so it's kind of got that energy baked into it. So I'm really curious. Again, feel free to come back throughout the month and drop little notes of what happened, because I think, you know, this will definitely play out on a larger scale within the world and within the US. It's like we're going to get some sort of huge, big, startling news, and then people are like, oh my God, yay! And then it's like, we have hope, and we're so excited. But I'm curious if this would also happen in our personal lives. I feel like it should, you know. So this would be in my 10th house of, yeah, so very curious what this is going to look like for everybody. Let me know. Come back. And then we get into the 18th. Right around the 18th, the energy kind of shifts. We're into much lighter territory. The rest of this month feels really good, which we're starting to approach June, which is the best month of the year. June is just going to be an amazing month. On the 18th, Mars moves into Taurus and Venus moves into Cancer. Venus loves being in Cancer. We now have Venus and Jupiter in Cancer, both of our benefic planets, both of the most positive planets in Cancer, which is starting to build on the energy of what ends up being one of the best alignments in June, which is basically when they're right on top of each other. Best election for the year, by the way. If you want to plan anything big, plan it for that day. I do want to write down Venus is moving into Cancer. And the reason why is because I want you to just pay attention to what happens that day. There might be a tiny little preview because, again, that's that co-present sign. There might be a tiny preview of what's going to happen when those two planets do go conjunct later in June. So think of it as a preview. So yeah, this is a super positive energy. As soon as Venus moves in there, it's with Jupiter. The closer and closer it gets every day, the better. Again, look at what section of your chart this is happening in. This is my 11th house of audience, social media. It's all of you guys. I've actually been seeing, you know, Jupiter has been here for the last year, and it kind of did this little, it was moving forward, and then it retrograded, and it's been moving back. And ever since the second time it's been moving back, I've just been noticing I've been getting a ton more followers, a ton more eyeballs on me, and it's very correlated here, like down to the day. Like I think it was when I went onto Linda G's channel the first time, I think Jupiter Station Direct or something. I can't remember what happened, but it's so cool how you can time some of this stuff. Okay, moving along. Then on the 20th, we have the sun moving into Gemini. The moon moves quickly, so the moon's moving around at this point. The moon takes 2.5 days to go through all of the signs. So now we are in Gemini season. Oh my goodness, I need to start planning my son's birthday. I'm going to write that on my hand. This is how I remember things. Gemini season. His birthday always sneaks up on me. And just whenever the sun moves into that sign, it's like that whole month you're getting kind of that flavor of energy for the whole month. Like just 2 days later, the sun is right on top of Uranus, right conjunct Uranus. And so again, we haven't seen that yet. So we're really going to get a shine, an extra bright spotlight on what Uranus in Gemini means for us. I'm going to just write that down because again, something to pay attention to while it's here, while it's doing this. because it's just going to give you, because we have had hardly no time with Uranus and Gemini. So I think it's important to pay attention to these. And this is going to say, hey, this is what I'm really here to do in this sign in your life for the next 7 years, also in the world as well. In the US specifically, we're having our Uranus return. But yeah, just those Gemini themes are going to be more present. Even if you're not a Gemini, you're going to feel that. Okay, and then the rest of the half of the month, there's a lot of good sextiles, trines, all sorts of good things happening. I'm just going to state it as like, you know, the rest of the month is feeling really good, just right up until the end. We've got to get past this icky Mars square Pluto on the 25th. Mars square Plutos are never good. They're never fun. At the same time, the sun is also conjunct Uranus. So it's very difficult. It's very primal. It's very irrational. People lash out. People losing their heads, like literally or metaphorically. I would say it's probably like, you know, it's crazy people when they, it's like just when you are already angry and pissed off and you just lose it. And you'll see that happening even more so. But with that sun there might be some people who really move through it in a very positive way, but then other people are just going to lose their shit, for lack of better words. So where is this going to be happening? So yeah, that's probably the most difficult aspect of this month. They always say to like be careful when you're driving, like be careful of road rage, things like that. I would be curious how it shows up in everyone's personal lives, because it's in different areas of your chart. But I would say look to the world stage. I think we're going to see something big happening with like Trump possibly, or other world leaders. It might not be Trump, just world leaders like losing their marbles a little bit. Okay, and then I feel like I should have mentioned there's Venus square Saturn on the 28th. That could be difficult with your relationships. Just feeling like a little bit restricted in your relationships. But then we have another lunation. This is one of those months where we have 3 lunations. So on May 31st, we've got our next full moon in Sag. So you're going to want to look to the Sagittarius area of your chart. Aries, this is going to be your 9th house, Taurus 8th. I don't know how to feel about this one because it's like, I don't know how to feel about this one. Yeah, I'll be 100% honest with you guys. I forgot to look at that one. So maybe follow me on Instagram around that time and I'll make sure to share more information on what that one's going to look like. I mean, I can tell you right now, full moons are all about showing you, it's like heightened emotions, showing you what the thing is that you've manifested. And it's kind of like, well, is this what I want or is this not what I want? And it'll be in the Sagittarius area of your chart. And so there might be a lot of heightened emotions around that. And it's kind of like, okay, cool, where do I need to pivot? But I actually feel like it is maybe a more positive one, because that trine with Saturn, it's like Saturn makes you be a little bit more disciplined and have the follow through with it. All right, friends, that is May. Be sure to come back for June. June is going to be a much, it's going to be the most positive month of the year, right before like kind of the best and the worst month of the year, July. So thank you all so much for watching. Just remember, you can book a birth chart reading with me anytime on my website. I also do astrocartography services, and I will see you all in my next one. Alrighty, bye.